your screen.
Yeah. Hello, guys. Today I'm gonna talk about Aboriginal people, the people who came first to Canada and US. We call them Indigenous people of Canada. They migrated. They had several names, but some of them had the negative meaning. That's why they changed it. For example, skin red, skin men's, and something. But today we know them about as a Aboriginal people. They come from about 13,000 years ago. 13,000 years ago, they came from across from the waterway from Asia over the Alaska, following herds of animals. And there are some groups. The three famous group is First Nation, Inuits, and Métis. Then they have something, some transportation like canoes, kayak, toboggans, and snowshoes. And they didn't write. They had, instead of writing, they used some symbol. They had a great story. It's about 500 years, but I try to make it fast because I don't want to you bored and waste the time of class. Their food resource was meat, fish, octopus, herring, crabs, and they live mainly on their own crops, corn, beans, and squash, which were called three sisters. And the man tried to clear the land for planting. Their garments, clothes, they tried to make clothes from a skin of animals like buffalo, maybe cows, and something. They make leather for clothes. They have something, a spiritual belief. All the First Nation believe that their value and tradition. Sorry, guys. Some tradition were gifts from Creator. One of the most important and most common teaching was that people should live in harmony with the natural world and all it contains. Sorry, I don't know why Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
I don't know why the screen is stopped. The screen is, sorry. Okay, Jacques Cartier, he was the first exploration that came to Canada. The Cartier is the name of brand of clothes of children today. He made 3 journeys to Canada in 1534, 1535, and 41. His trips were ordered by the King of France. And for 3 reasons, exploration came here. First, find alternate route to China, and second, bring back gold, silk, and other riches to the country, and claim land for the King of France. The French people came here first, and after that, British, they came here, and after that, their competition started. But they had common enemy, and they were native people, and they tried to occupy this land. The European, they learned it has several positive and negative points for European and for Aboriginal people. For European, they learn how to survive in wilderness as well as cold of winter. They learn how to make clothes, leather, and travel in the winter and use medicinal plants. They learn a new food such as maple syrup and pumpkin. And for native, some positive points, it was learn of new food as a salt and bread. The European introduced them to woolen clothes. They were also brought iron weapon, which they became increasingly dependent on. Then iron weapons was the most things that they give them. And negative point for native people was the European introduced them to alcohol, which had a tremendous effect on their life. They brought diseases like smallpox and influenza, which killed thousands of natives. The fur trade changed their native way of living. The French tried to impose Christian on them. And for this disease, I saw in a particle, the British people give them some poisonous blanket, potato, and try to make poison water as food. And because they want to omit them for this land, they want to kill all of them. And it was disaster for them. Very hard situation. And after that, they tried to change their thinking, their religious, their way of living. Because I want to, the European and French people, they want to make them harmonize with their culture. And it was hard for Aboriginal people. That's why they tried to establish some school, some boarding school for children. Then in this school they start in 1883. They try to change their culture, their religions, their language, writing, reading, and everything. They try to separate boys and girls and they have to learn, for example, boys, they have to learn how to carpenter and something like planting and during for in the way the European people think. That means it was hard for them. They said in the memorial, they said it was hard situation for us because they punished us, beating us, and when we want to run away from the school, they bring back us. And more than 150,000 Aboriginal children attended residential school between 1857 and 1996. It was more than almost 100 years they suffer from this school. And boarding school was hard. The first religious boarding school, this is the history of this school, began in 1880s to harmonize Canadian native European Canadian culture, and they they were run by church. They were even arranged with local leader. By 1996, when the last of 18 Canadian boarding school closed, about 150,000 in Indigenous children, including primitive Inuits and Native, attended the school. Meanwhile, 6,000 children lost their life for various reasons, and some survived, but didn't forget the suffering of these schools these days. Then end of boarding school because of widespread protest and obligation. In 1996, the last religious boarding school was closed. From that years and even a little earlier, attention began the school who were in the school, but this intensified in 1919 and early 2000. This Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper officially apologized in 2008 and promised to pay more than about $2 billion, give them was earmarked to compensate because of they give them some this money to apologize. And finally, they have a commemoration day since 2001. The first day of summer, June 21st, has been named after the native people of Canada. And every year on these days, in the day leading up to various celebrated, and they celebrate these days as a food festival, music, dancing. This day is 21st of June, that means first of summer, is the day of native people. But some of them say it should have removed to September because of anniversary of day. Harper officially apologized to Indigenous people. Then Canadian in 2008 and acknowledged that their right had been violent. However, June 21st is still the day of native of Canadian people, native. And this at the present time they have better life, they don't have paid tax, and they have some points in more than Canadian residential. For example, they don't have to pay for education, for university, college, high school, all of them are free for them. At the present time, they have a better life, thanks God. And this is the last picture. The last picture is with Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau is favorite prime minister. Then I try to do it fast. Hello?
Thank
Yes.
you, Farzana. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it over?
Yeah, it's over. I have some question. I try to make it fast. I don't know it was useful or no.
It was great,
Yeah,
but we
it
don't have
was
time.
useful.
We don't have time for the questions.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
It was very great. Thank you very much.
So much. Thank you,
it
you
was
guys, for
excellent.
encouraging me. Then I have 2 or 3 questions. If we have time,